Morning. So we're going to have a short presentation of a report. GFD has been running the career fairs for some years now. And part of what we do is to trace back and find out from participants who have benefited from this process to get their experience as to how the career fair has impacted on their employment outcomes, particularly their confidence to step out into the world of work. And so the report you're about to hear or see is just a brief highlights of some of the key issues that have come out. And these are more or less the lived experiences of our participants. The bigger report is there, which we will soon share with all partners so that you get to appreciate in whole what Career Fair is doing in impacting the employment outcomes of persons with disabilities. I have been introduced. My name is Moses Fodio. I work with the Ghana Federation of Disability Organizations in charge of monitoring and evaluation. Can I get a navigation? Okay, good. All right, so just to give a bit of a background, the annual career fairs have been organized as part of our drive to improve employment outcomes. It started by looking at graduates with disabilities who are preparing to enter into the job market. With time, of course, based on the discussions that we've been having with participants and stakeholders, there's been a call for this scope to be expanded to not only look at wage employment, but also people who want to venture into entrepreneurship. And we'll say that over the years, that is where we are drifting towards. Our key partners have been the Danish Disability Organizations, Disabled People's Organization of Denmark, Sight Savers, Standard Chartered, we are so grateful, British Council, FCDO, and many, many other partners. The next slide, please. So in this year's career fair, we just thought to give you some rundown or some of the numbers. And I must say that this study picked some data from a sample that we have. And so you may not have all the years represented here. So we're looking at 2017, 2018 to 2022. So on average, we're having about around 100, between 90 to 100 participants coming on board. It's also striking that the male-female participation is not so wide, but consistently we see that the males are dominating. So that is it. So in terms of the focus of the career fairs, it is about getting people prepared. How do you do basic things to make your CV a marketable one? How do you develop your soft skills? When you appear, you get opportunity to appear for interview, how do you carry yourself? Such confidences is the reason why the career fair was birthed. And so over the years, the process has looked at how do we build people's confidence so that they can, confidently enter the job market. The next slide, please. So by way of the study, we looked at answering some 4 key questions. What has been the experiences of the alumni regarding their confidence in employment? What has been any significant changes they have seen in their lives as a result of being participants? Were there moments of disappointments? Obviously, people come with expectations. Were there some moments of disappointments? And because we are looking at this being a sustainable process, what recommendations? So as I said, these are recommendations that are coming from our past alumni who have participated in our career fairs. The next slide, please. Okay. All right. So I will skip the methodology. Basically, this was a qualitative study. So, of course, I need to also emphasize that the limitations of this is that the number of respondents we did sample a few. We did not interview everybody. We took a sample, and that not many employers also participated in this study, even though the study design was to reach out to employers who have employed to see what is their story. How did they also overcome their barriers in order to employ persons with disabilities? Just a few participated. And so employers, you're here. In future studies, we shall be reaching out to you. Please do help us to get your side. Just by way of summary, the findings. Regarding transitioning from school to the world of work, most of the people we have interviewed have indicated that they were struggling to find employment opportunities despite holding relevant qualifications. And majority of them indicated that they have personally faced multiple rejections from employers. So not once. So I used to say 2 or 3 occasions. They know that they have done their best, but they've been rejected. And they attribute this to negative societal attitudes, the lack of confidence on the part of employers, and the influences of negative stereotypes about the capabilities of persons with disabilities. 1 in 7 of those who we interviewed reported success in securing employment, and they attribute this to the skills they acquired when they attended career fairs. And that is quite, even though it's a moderate number, that is quite assuring that we will get somewhere. Moments of disappointments, yes. Some companies and institutions were not adequately prepared to understand disability inclusion, particularly regarding accommodation of persons with disabilities in their work spaces. The career fair was condensed into a single day, and this was a moment where they expressed that feeling to say that based on what they wanted to say and the opportunities they had wished to have interaction, quality interaction with employers, they felt that one day was not enough. And so in future, we could do that. And thanks to the CEO for Standard Chartered, who outlined that now we are doing 2 days. So there will be a boot camp. People will come, will have quality interaction with the technical people. The next day, we'll have this big gathering, which also comes with bigger opportunities. The absence of follow-ups and instant feedback. So what here they are saying is that they want, when they come to career fairs like this, should be able to give me feedback and say, how did I perform in my interview? How did I perform in the way I carried myself when I approached you as an employer? They want that instant feedback so that they know that they have picked something positive from this. This, they realized that it was not there, and so it's a suggestion for future interactions. Absence of employers from the regions outside of Greater Accra. So we invited people from outside of Accra, and they are looking to say, okay, if I'm coming from Koforidua, is there an employer who is coming from Eastern region? Because right from the career fair, I'm going back to my region. So the absence of that, they felt that was also something that was quite disappointing. Some participants expressed difficulty in engaging with employers due to the limited time allocated for the interactions. And some employers were not willing to provide their contact information. So some would have wished that at least you give your complimentary card to say, okay, you are free to contact me. But because they didn't get that, that was a moment of disappointment. All right, so significant impacts. The fair served as a moral booster. And this is just summarizing what the statements people make. It motivated participants to restart their job search. So this group of participants were saying that we almost gave up until we had opportunity to appear, and based on the presentations, it gave us some assurance that we can restart our job search activities. Participants said they gained valuable insights into practical things that they need to take note of: job interview skills, how to write a good CV, and the essential skills that employers are looking out for. It was also a moment of opportunity for them to network. So some picked friends from among their colleagues. Some also were able to network with the resource persons who came around. For some, the experience they gained at the fair directly led to employment opportunities. Some were given offers to go and do internship, which led to employment. And among some of the names that came up, please don't get offended if you are an employer, but your name doesn't feature here. But this is the common thread that went through. So some people were picked as alumni to teach in organizations that they came from. So we have organizations that lead for Ghana, Local Government Service, Japan Motors Trading Company, Africates Medical Center, and Amalitech. So if you are here, this is a proud moment for you. People have given positive statements about what you're doing. And these are the range of employment areas that they have been put into. Some are going into as teachers, some are social development officers, finance officer, support staff, and recruitment analysts for diversity and inclusion. And we've seen that the diversity of the roles that are being given is showing very positive thing. All right, so the likelihood that anyone will recommend that, okay, people should participate in career fair, that is quite positive. As high as 66.7% said yes, because it is relevant. I will recommend that anybody should make an effort when the call comes to participate in this. Some recommendations were made. There's the need to include employers from various sectors beyond banking and ensure they are briefed on disability issues to foster acceptance and inclusivity. GFD and partners should extend the duration of the fair to 2 to 3 days, which I did alluded to. GFD and its partners should ensure organizers commit to securing jobs for participants and provide follow-up support to track their progress after the career fairs. GFD and its partners should introduce career fairs in schools to provide early exposure to the world of work, helping students with disabilities better prepare for the future of employment. There's the need to prepare some companies and institutions to adequately understand disability inclusion. Last but not the least, that there should be representation from government and public institutions, including the local government service, because they thought that these are institutions that are big employers. So they are looking at that. So briefly summarizing, this is the presentation. I would like to thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and very insightful presentation. I'm sure as partners would look at these recommendations, and in planning our next fair would incorporate some of these into it. We'd want to move on to the next session, which is a panel discussion. The panel discussion is basically to discuss best practices on disability employment. And we have our panelists in the house. I would first want to invite our landlord, Nido Dudodu, the British Council Country Director for Ghana, Cameroon, and Sierra Leone, to join us. We also have Alimata Abdul, who is a Disability and Inclusion Coordinator in the UN Ghana Resident Coordinator's Office. Can we please give her a round of applause? And then finally, we have Mr. Richard Ofei, the founder of the Ghana Disability Dream Development Foundation, GFFFD, who would also join us. Thank you very much for joining us. You have your mics by your side. If you could please check for me that it's working. Yes. So in my introduction, I spoke about how persons with disability have various talents and skills, but have not been able to bring it to bear in the sense that they have not been employed enough, so they are not able to showcase their talent. And in the address by Mr. Homaji, he spoke about the unemployment percentage in general and how it's even more when it comes to persons with disability. So we have Nidodu here as an employer. We have Alimata here as an employee. And then we have Richard here as an entrepreneur. So we would want to hear three different perspectives around this. So I would start with Ni, our landlord. So Ni, how can companies revise their recruitment and hiring practices to attract and retain a diverse talent pool that includes individuals with disability? What innovative approaches have been successful in this regard?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. And I would say that, for me, it's three things. It has to do with being intentional, being consistent, and also being embedded in the things that an organization does. And why do I say this? Employers, and for that matter, companies themselves are trying to, especially in this day and age, trying to survive in a very tough macro environment. However, there's no way we can leave anyone behind. And that's why, and using the examples from British Council, organizations need to be very intentional about it, because if you are not intentional, it's very easy for you to forget and just, look at your bottom line. Some of the things you could do is to encourage persons with disability when you put out adverts to apply. Go out of your way, have relationships with organizations like GFD, and if there are opportunities that you really want persons with disability to participate, send it through that network and let them get access to also put in their applications. So for me, and just coming back to that point, it's about being intentional and looking out for every segment of society when you have economic opportunities through job adverts.
Thank you very much, Nii. I would move on to Alimata, and I would ask, Alimata, how did you get your job? Any resistance prior to applying for the role? Tell us about your experience working with the UN.
Okay, sorry for that. Hello, good morning, everybody. And thank you so much for the question. Actually, how did I apply for my role? I got into the UN system through the United Nations Volunteer Program. And actually, it was a colleague of mine who sent me the job ad. I had done consultancy with her in an organization. I never knew her. And then she saw I had sent her something from Eastern Europe that she consulted for. So when she saw this, she thought, she sent it my way. So I went into the system. Initially, I didn't want to apply, but because I had a consultancy doing so, but I said, let me just check on this. And I saw a few things that aroused my interest. So I went into the system to apply. The UN system, you have to apply using their system. So actually already I was on a UNICEF thing. I was applying for a UNICEF program and things like that. So when I went into the system and I put my email address, the system said, oh, there is an account already existing with this account. I was really surprised. So I had forgotten my password, so I said, what? So I double-checked, and they sent me reset. And it was really my account. So I went inside, and fortunately, I was able. Actually, the only downside is that the United Nations, the volunteer program platform is not very accessible using screen readers, which I have told them. So I did apply. I used the system to apply, and then I was selected. And also, when I was selected, the interview was through Teams. When I saw that, I was like, I was very conversant with Zoom. Why are these people using Teams? Because in 2018 and 2019, the consultancies I did was using Zoom. So I was quite very conversant, but I double-checked with Zoom, Teams, and Teams was also accessible. So yeah, so I did the interview, and it was a competency-based interviews. Fortunately, all the sites that were recommended for the UN competency-based interviews were very accessible, so I didn't really have much problems to get onto the UN system. And before I could join, they had asked me, do you need any reasonable accommodation? So one of the things for persons with disabilities to join a workforce or to participate in even interviews, like Nidodu was saying, you have to circulate your job to organizations or persons with disabilities. Yes, but aside from that, as a person with disability coming for interview, they might need reasonable accommodation. And reasonable accommodation is adjustments that you give to persons with disabilities to enable them participate equally with all other persons on a role or in whatever you are doing. So they were asking me, do we need to make any adjustments for you? When I double-checked with Teams, I didn't need anything, so I said no. but then there were reasonable accommodations for my role. So that was taken on another level. So this is how I got onto the UN space. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a follow-up, and to the point, which I think is very important, we make to employers, that our websites should be friendly. We should be able to, there should be screen reading plugins available so that everybody can have access to it. The last bit of my question was, how has it been like working with the UN?
Okay, it's been super anyway. So, for example, like I oversee, as part of my work, the United Nations Disability Inclusion Strategy. So, as part of my work, I assist the UN country team here to implement the United Nations Disability Inclusion Strategy. And like Nidodu said, you have to be intentional. For us, from the leadership to our organizational culture, you have to be disability inclusive. So, for example, the disability inclusion strategy has two parts. It's a system-wide policy on disability inclusion and also an accountability framework. So whether you are a fund or program, or you are a UN country team, you are peace mission, or whoever you are, so far as you are in the UN, it covers you, and you use the accountability framework to report. And I oversee, we have just reported Ghana's, we have just, in December, I submitted the report together with my colleagues on how we are doing. So there are adjustments that I help them to make. So for example, currently, the Federation and site savers are reviewing or assessing, auditing, like they say, the UN country teams, every UN agency, their premises, their office space, in order to ensure that we are the gaps, okay? So we are kind of mapping the accessibility gaps in our premises and our workspaces so that we can remedy those gaps and then make our services inclusive. So from leadership, our strategic planning and management, from programs and organizational culture, we measure all these things to be disability inclusive. So for example, our occupation, do we have policies, HR policies that are disability inclusive? Are we ensuring that persons with disabilities, roles that are advertised, vacancies, reach persons with disabilities? And our HR has done a list that they sent vacancies to, and we have adopted a non-discrimination employment statement as a UN country team that should go out with every employment vacancy announcement to say that nobody is discriminated against. You are required to apply, whether you are a person with disability, and you will have there will be reasonable accommodation for you to kind of make you successful in your role. So yeah, it has been good working for the. We assess everything, even including the reasonable accommodation request. So for example, every reasonable accommodation that is provided for me, at the end of the year, they ask questions. Are you satisfied with the level of the reasonable accommodations that are provided for you? And in addition, this small one, then I finish. Aside from that, there is also, sometimes people forget, but there are staff with dependents with disabilities, and they take their views on board when planning all these things. Staff with dependents with disabilities, and those of us with staff ourselves with disabilities. And there is even a network for staff and dependents with disabilities, so that our views can be taken on board when planning these things and even reviewing the disability inclusion policy strategy. So it's been good working with the UN. There are lots of how is it called? There are a lot of trainings to kind of upscale you if you are falling short, and all these things. You have other colleagues that you can fall on, and those kind of things. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Alimata. Very rich experience. Richard.
Yes. Hello.
I know you have a story.
Yes.
So what has the journey been with the foundation? What are your success stories? What have been your challenge?
Okay. My name is Richard Ofe. I'm the president of Ghana Disability Development Foundation. First, good morning to everybody and all protocol observed. Being disability in Ghana here is not easy. The word I would use is so painful. I wasn't born disability. I was a footballer with the lives of my Claysian Suleiman Terry, 97 at Liberty Professionals, and had an accident in the year 2000 when I was 18 years. And after the accident, that's how the story began. My own family thought I becoming useless, so they just do me sort of things and drag me to the street. One of my uncle, big man that works with PNRA, as soon as he heard about, oh, Richard has got accident and lost his leg, I said, oh, or shiny shoes. So it wasn't easy. Finally, it was only God. And in Ghana, the same story. Maybe it will be 1% that I may be enjoying being as a disability. As I was living, struggling on the street, God enlightenment, shine upon me. I dreamed that was in the year 2000. I had an accident in the year 2000, and I dreamed to meet ex-President Kufuor because somebody saw me and assist me to, attend a technical school to learn something. And even the school has vacated, and I even called my family. They says I was still wanted to come and pay to spend my vacation holiday. They say, still no, go back to your village. So a friend, I called a friend, and the friend said, no, Richie, don't worry, you come. And that's the same house that my sisters were saying, that they are the landlords. So during the vacation, I dreamt to meet Kufuor, and Kufuor has been doing a lot for me. I thought just a normal dream. And I went to my sister just to tell my sister, because sometimes in the morning I just go there just to support her so that I may have some money for cocoa and other stuff. So I go there and say, sis, I thought just a dream. And well, he just, insulting me and other stuff as they've been doing. So as, he went to, trade. He just had a call from the school headmaster, and the school headmaster told her to tell me that the next day I should come to the school because ex-President Kufuor is coming to the school. So as he came home and told me that this is the story, I thought just a joke and even connived with my headmaster to, sack me from the school. So I didn't even believe it was a real story. Fine. I wanted to cut off the story, then continue with, that dream came true. And I met Kufuor live at the school. And Kufuor assisted me to work with Ghana Cocoa Board. And also, Ghana Paralympic. We are the first people to start the one-leg football in Ghana. Somebody just introduced me. Which is Ghana Amputee football. In the year 2006, we had opportunity to, as a captain, to join the team to Amputee Cup of Nations at Sierra Leone, and Ghana won, and I even had the first ever Amputee best player for the nation, then won the cup to Ghana. So that's where I feel, I wanted to go local, I wanted to go local. So ehona afi my friends, family now. Yeah, the friends and the family that rejected and everybody, they say, oh, Richard, we've been seeing you, we've been seeing your pictures and your news all over the newspaper and the TV, and they say, yes, that's what God can do. From there, that's the journey of the disability. And we qualified to our World Cup in, Turkey, first World Cup, and thank God we were able to, Ghana, we were able to take the Ghana team to the quarterfinals. And also, so many countries, UK, Argentina, Moscow, the whole lot of places. But during my traveling, I realized disability issues in the Western world is different. You'll be enjoying being a disabled. But in Ghana here, oh yes, you'll be enjoying being a disabled. Oh dear, they'll be enjoying it, seriously. I'm telling you. But in Ghana here, when something like this happens, or you were born to be a disabled, something else, somebody can be maybe we're having his, his eyes, and all of a sudden something can happen, and then he lost the eyes, and the world will be changing for him. Ghana here, the world will be changing for him. Some were accident and other stuffs. So UK, we launched an academy called Greenbank Sport Academy. The academy purposely designed for persons living with disability that have been managing the academy. Had strong facilities that the disabilities were managing. So the foundation took this opportunity to say, no, we need to do something great. In Ghana here, we can also do something. So as me being the captain, observing so many things, we even say, oh, one day we'll build this academy in Ghana. So we started the foundation. That was in the year 2008. And we appealed to the king of, or the chief of command, Dominance. He even donated a huge land, 40 acres of land, to build the disability sport and educational complex to empower the PWDs through education, skills training, entrepreneurship, employment, and the whole lot of things. But still, the stigma and the discrimination against we the disabilities in Ghana. The government are not been taking disability issues serious. Some of the people too are not, and even the families. So that project became a different issue altogether for Ghana Dream Disability Development Foundation. So alongside, we realized that no, this project is so huge. We can't, this one there we can't. So we need to think of something that can sustain us, something that we can. God bring this powerful, if maybe you've been showing it, a fruit beverage business. It's a Jinkwa Ghana Beverage Company or Limited. AGBL purposely to employ, the vision is to employ over 2,000 disabilities. It's one of the company, it can employ majority, the concept, everything can employ with the disabilities. Because first, it's natural, it doesn't add sugar, preservatives, and other things. It's natural. So the aged, children, everybody can patronize. So because of that, as the day we're doing the product launch at Kempinski, we invited the presiding bishop of Methodist and Christian Council, a lot of the dignitaries all came and patronized, and even the way, let me explain how it's going to do too.
Stories, I know you have a very long story. I know we are enjoying the story, but we also have time allocation, right? So maybe just to round up your session, what has been your biggest challenge running the fruit farming and fruit business? Okay,
our biggest challenge is the perception that the society have for the disabilities entrepreneurs. First, now we were using the deaf people, the disability. We had different kind of category. Some were using wheelchairs, some and other stuff. We even were using the deaf people for the production. But the perception and how the public and people were telling us, I'm disabled for I'm drinking there. So I don't crowd. Because of that, we have to cut the deaf people, then use the ables. But the way, how it's going to employ, okay, I'll explain, I'll come down. So the business, even presenting it to the government, we've been pursuing it. The FDA, I'll use the opportunity to appreciate Madame Emidilas Dakon. It wasn't easy. As we discovered this product, then we went to the FDA. It wasn't easy, but later we let them understand that they should understand with the disability. So if we are doing a business, they should give us the opportunity. And finally, the FDA approve our business. And also, giving a chance to most of the disabilities that wanted to register their businesses or the product. The government sector, we've been presenting these projects to them, not now, pursuing it, doing all sort of things that we can, sustain this to help empower our people through this, entrepreneurship.
So basically, your main challenges have to do with production and marketing.
Good.
And how people see goods produced by persons with disability.
Good. That's our main challenge. First is our logistics, because we need some funds for logistics. We need, as for that, we have a huge market. Let me explain how it's going to employ and how the market is.
We will come there.
Good.
We will come there. I'll come back to you, because the second part would speak to that. So I'll come back to you, Nee. From the perspective of the British Council, what initiatives are you currently working on to promote disability awareness? And probably lastly, what actions can companies who are seated here and also take to drive things?
Thank you. I'm sure many organizations like British Council have a policy for inclusion, diversity, so on and so forth. But I think as organizations, we need to go beyond just having policies and strategies. It's easy to have one. The more difficult part is to put it into action. And as you can hear, my brothers and sisters here saying, disability is, it's not far away from anybody. Sometimes when you are, in quotes, able-bodied, you think, there's a category of people who are labeled as disabled. But, I have friends who we've moved for many years, and then one morning, they wake up and they've either lost their speech or lost their sight. And it's real. And then you look at yourself and you say, hey, we have to look at all these things in perspective. At British Council, there are a couple of things that we do here. Number one, when we are bringing in interns, and it goes back to being intentional and deliberate, we make sure that we have interns that come from different segments of society. And of course, one of them being, we want persons with disability to be interns. Of course, we haven't followed it to the letter all the time, but events like this bring us the reminder that it's something that we need to keep doing. Secondly, we have people who come here and write their exams, English testing exams to travel, and where persons with disability are included, we make sure we make special arrangements for them. We also give out, we can be a conduit for scholarships, and quite recently, a week or so ago, if I'm not mistaken, we had a whole session here in this hall to look at how persons with disability can apply for some of these scholarships. And I'm happy to also say that late last year, we did speak to GFT, and we asked them to give us their annual program, because we don't just want to have a relationship just on a day like this. We want to have a relationship with them throughout the year. And the intention is to ensure that we can embed their annual program where possible in what we do, so that we can have events or activities throughout the year in support of the persons with disability community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very, very comprehensive. Alimata, I'll come back to you. I have two questions for you. Help us round up. What challenges have you faced as a person with disability in the organization? And also, what other initiatives is the UN office championing beyond what you have already spoken about?
Okay, thank you. Challenges I face, normally the challenges are around attitudinal. It's more attitudinal. Sometimes, you know, because people come from various cultures, they are socialized differently, and people bring their, it affects people, those ones you don't normally have so much control over, but normally the organization or institutions will train people on that. But if you ask me, I mean, everywhere I've been, it's more attitudinal than people saying other things. Because I see also that perceptions are changing. Perceptions about disability is changing it's not like I used to be in my secondary school days or university days. Now perception about disability is changed a lot. So that's kudos to those leading advocacy efforts. But in addition to your second question, the UN, for example, aside from the ones I talked about, we have a partnership on the rights of persons with disabilities project, joint program running with the Federation of Persons with Disabilities, the National Council on Persons with Disabilities, and the Ghana Statistical Service, and the UN agencies, so to help promote the reenactments of the bill, and also deal with data, disability data, see how MMDAs and then agencies data collection inclusive. So that project is running. And then also there is also a youth fellowship with UNFPA, and that this year has a person with disability also there. So it's been strengthened. And then also in UNDP, the UNDP last year, I think somewhere October, November, launched a youth sounding board, and persons with disabilities are there. So there are a number of so many things that the UN in Ghana is doing towards disability inclusion, but this is just a few. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Richard, I'll come to you, but just to tell us that once Richard is done, I'll open up for 3 questions before we hear their final thoughts. So Richard, your federation, you were about to go into the concept. I told you to hold on. So now tell us the concept.
Okay, it's the first time Ghana Disability have discovered this business that can employ majority of the disabilities. Because, you know, in Ghana, sometimes some of the businesses that we've been championing, okay, you say, koye shoemaking, koye hairdresser, koye petty buy. We also we realized that, no, we can also do something great. So that's the Ajinkwa Ghana beverage, as I was explaining. It's a natural, no sugar, no preservatives, no artificial or coloring and any other things. So Ajinkwa Ghana beverage concept is first the management, all the management, 90% of the management, myself, the accountant, and everybody, 90% are the PWDs. Apart from the production team that we've changed to, use the ABLs, because now people will say, you be the disability. Some people thought maybe the production and other stuff, the stigma and other stuff, but not like that. It was even the deaf people, but we were receiving calls. Then I'm disabled, now I'm producing. You people were saying, pay ABLs. I said, no, it wasn't say disabled, say any producer. It wasn't like that. But we changed them. So the concept is, as is natural that everybody can patronize, especially the sugar and the artificial products all over there, So we've made it in a way, schools, churches, mosques, hospitals, bus terminals, markets, Wherever the PWD is, we just, put a stand over there and for the person to be doing the market, and every month we also, pay the person. So it cut over all across the district and the region. That all the PWDs around can, getting something doing. It's not only the PWDs alone, but 90% of, the employee goes for the PWDs. But a question mark with the business that we have discovered to employ majority over, as we do the statistics, all the districts, we will start it by 10 in the district. So if you calculate it, it's over 2,000 people, 2,000 disabilities that can be employed. But it's not easy for us, running this vision, because the stigma or the perception that the society is so horrible. The product, as for the product, everybody loves it. As you people been watching.
Who have been your client?
Good, British Embassy. And I will use the opportunity to appreciate British Embassy, the former ambassador, Mr. Ian Walker, introduced us, and even helping to promote the business. And the new ambassador, Madam Harriet Thompson. So British Embassy being patronized. If you go to their canteen, you may see some of, apart from that, FDA, Madam Vidalas, if you go to FDA canteen, you may get our products, and Switzerland Embassy, so many places, but we can't sustain, we don't have the capacity to sustain this business. Lack of funds, we lack of logistics, because as is natural, only thing that we use to preserve it is chiller machines or a cooler. So we need to getting a depots in the regions, and we get our chiller machines and other logistics, the distribution vans and other stuffs, and the stands. But where is the funds? We were able to rent our factory place at Castle of Anchor, acquire few logistics, the juice extractor and the filling tank and other stuffs. But where is the money to. So,
Richard, thank you. Thank you for the expansion. I'll come back to all our panelists for your final words. So, have a lot of fire. But I'll come to us. Do we have any questions for our panelists? 3 questions I'll take.
Okay. Thank you, moderator and panelists. My name is Dr. Godson Ahoto. I teach at University of Ghana. I'm also a person with disability, visually impaired. My question will go to the entrepreneur. He talked of perception being a big problem, how they hear from the ground. My question is whether he has also heard about the cause of this negative perception, especially in the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc. We'll take all the questions. So, Richard, this question was to you. I hope you got it. But wait, please wait. We'll take all the questions and then we'll address them at once. So, the second question.
Okay. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. To the British Council, the CEO, I stand to be corrected. He did say they've been organizing some internships, or they've been receiving some people with special needs to have an internship with them. I would want to know how consistent have they been in the follow-up after the internship of these people? Do they do follow-ups to find out their well-being, as in what they have going in their lives, to see if maybe they could recruit them or something of that sort? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The question noted. The last one. Okay, there's one here. Okay, we'll take 4 and we are done. So there's one up here and then there's one in front. So let's take that one. Yeah.
Okay. My name is Adam Abdul Wahab, GFD. My question is to the British Council. To the best of my memory, most often career fairs about disability have often organized here in the British Council. This indicates how inclusive British Council is. I want to find out, do you have statistics or any measures in place to ensure at least a certain percentage of your employees are persons with disability, to actually certify the inclusiveness as that we are seeing with you? Because since we have been organizing this program here almost always, the thinking is that we should come here and see persons with disabilities working with the council for us to say that we have really achieved what we are aiming at. So, any measures in place, or do we have some people who are permanently working with the British Council as a result of inclusiveness?
Thank you. So the final question. So 2 questions to the British Council, 1 to Richard.
All right. So I'm Ato Kwabena. Yeah, so my question goes to the entrepreneur. So I want to ask that, what is the matter? Is it that, because he spoke about the fact that they are unable to make the business sustainable, and I'm asking that, is the inability to make the business sustainable emanating from from low patronage of their product, or what? And if it's about low patronage, is that also emanating from the stigma or the perception the society has? That's my question.
Thank you. So maybe we'll start with Richard, and we'll answer the 2 questions.
The question that Mr. Asked about the perception on with the disabilities. What I would say is, if I'm saying the perception of on with the disabilities, sometimes the society thought they didn't even have confidence in us. They thought there's nothing good in us. They thought we can't perform anything. But that's a lie. I'm a driver. It's not just a driver. I'm enjoying driving manual car, which I've been teaching even the 2 legs to how they drive manual cars. I have most of the 2 legs. That it was me that teach them to drive manual cars. Now, even most of the drivers are automatic. Most of the people that have been driving is automatic. They can't even drive a manual. But we challenge them to tell them that we can do it. So the perception is the society didn't believe in us, and also we being the disability, they thought what we are doing is not something, variable, that it will help them. Let me come to the sports side. Look at Black Star. Black Star will go to tournament, we carry all the Ghana money, they will go to tournament, and instantly they say they need their money before they will play. And they will not even bring a spoon to Ghana. And 1 leg, Ghana Puti will go. Even some of them, the last tournament that they went, themselves that, plane ticket and other stuff, themselves that, get the money to fund their plane tickets. And finally, they won the cup to Ghana. But Ghana didn't honor them. We were able to deliver. But the perception is we are disabilities. So it wasn't needed. So I'll urge or appeal to we the Ghanaians that we are part of the nation. We are part of, because without we also have a potential. We also have, skillful abilities to do a lot of things. This year, I'm going to use that. I'm going to do maybe if they will call it the driving turn or whatever. But we have named it motivational journey to the London. As a first time, 1 leg is going to drive manual car from Ghana to London to prove to the world that disability in Ghana here, we are not useless. And purposely to raise funds and acquire the logistics to let this business, be ongoing, so that our people with disability can also get in something doing. So the perception, that's what I can say for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think it partly answers the second question as well. You know, the second question had to do with why are you facing the challenges you're facing? Is it because the marketing is not going well? Is it because people are not patronizing? I know you've answered a bit because you spoke about the perception as well, but anything else in the next minute that you can add?
Okay, the other question is not about the product. The product is one of the unique that people were seeking for the product. It's one of the products that everybody loves it. It's the product that everybody, I can test, it's not maybe the pictures, as the pictures you've been seeing here can even testify it. The first day, the British ambassador, they drank it. People been drinking this product. And it's very good because it's natural, as I said, no sugar, and we have, different, kind of varieties, which is good. So it wasn't the product, but it was still the perception on we the disabilities. Because they think we being the disabled, they say, okay, we are managing, we discovered a business that can employ majority of the disabilities. They still doesn't believe in us, and they still doesn't see in us something. Our government, they say one district, one factory. And this is one of the powerful concepts for the government. But still, we've been pushing to the highest level, even His Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana's office. But still, we are still having a positive, response from them. And another challenge, I'll bring the few challenge.
Please. 30 seconds.
30 seconds. The toll booth, it was the foundation that, pursuing this toll booth agenda. That was 2014-15, and MPP came and implement. And they still collapsed it. They didn't even think of the disability that works there. All is about the perception, and they don't value. That's what they. Be there sometimes, Misu. You say yes or not. Feelings. We are disabled in Ghana. What's the more? Because a binom survey say a binom somebody like you have so many lives. You lose great men and women. We lose them. Which a be a common be try or many be craft fryer and kaye. Look at Ebony. Look at some of the stars that have been dying just like that. But bra Christian Achu. Kasabi in I craft fryer. I believe say Ghana kiepe after the earthquake on Turkey. But you survive, The society doesn't want to accept that the disability is part of the nation. And business take it serious. Education, they are not taking it serious. Sports they are not taking it serious. So that's the bigger challenge.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll come to Ni to respond to the other two questions. And then you can add your, from what Richard has said, he's given his final remarks as well. So you will do, then I'll come to Alimata for us to conclude. Thank you.
All right. I've worked for many international organizations, and I can, say without any hesitation that British Council has been very impressive in terms of the insistence of ensuring that diversity and inclusion is factored into everything that we do. There's a whole unit, and if you ask any of my colleagues, they'll tell you how we are all under pressure from our inclusion and diversity unit to make sure that all the things we do, from our programs, from the policies, everything reflects our EDI policy. Coming back to specifics, since I've been here, I've met a lot of, and maybe after here we'll try and get a lot of the statistics, but I've been very impressed with people who have come in through their internship, so normally national service. They've come in as national service persons, and then they've been, they've seen opportunities in the organization, they've applied, and they've been accepted. And I've met a few people who, for me, has been very impressive, and like I said, I've worked in many places, and I haven't seen that kind of commitment and intentionality of ensuring that whoever comes in through whether it's an internship program, at least we are able to keep them. I must admit also that, it's definitely not enough. We can do more. But for me, the fact that it's something that is always on our minds, it's a plus, because what it means is that anytime we bring in persons with disabilities, the intention and the plan to ensure that we keep at least some of them is still there, and it's something that we'll continue to do. And we look forward to doing more, especially this year, when we are going into a very key critical relationship with GFD, to ensure that if there are other ways that we can contribute to this whole fight, we are more than happy to do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for him. Alimata, you have the final word.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So, just to say that the Secretary General of the United Nations says that we want to make the United Nations employer of choice for persons with disabilities, and our own residence coordinator also is a disability inclusion champion. So I would just like to say to every person with disability here that, disability has moved a long way. It's no longer charity, it's no longer medical. Disability is situated in the human rights model. So you don't have to feel that those who are when people are doing it, for example, let's take this very example, like Standard Chartered and all the partners are leading this, so they are doing you a huge favor, or it's such a tremendous thing. Yes, tremendous, but it's a responsibility of society. So it's our right, it's your right. So you view it as that. The perceptions and the negative attitudes that we have heard across the room, especially by our colleague, the entrepreneur here, it also affects other smaller groups. So it's not only us. So don't let us, persons with disabilities, focus our minds on that. What I would like to say is that don't take things for granted. Grab your space when the opportunity comes and make very good use of the space. For me, one thing I've learned so much in life is that anytime I take something little for granted, things go haywire for me. So I don't like to take things for granted. Don't take things for granted. Use the opportunities that come your way and use them very well. A lot of opportunities are going to come now. People are understanding disability, and the space is opening. So it's a good time now for inclusion, and disability inclusion is on the agenda of all big agencies, bilaterals, multilaterals. So this is really the time. So let us grab the space and make use of the opportunity, and know that there will definitely be people with attitudes and perceptions, but don't let that slow you down and move forward. The UN is working very strongly to remove the barriers and those things that prevent persons with disabilities to full inclusion. And very soon, the UN and all other spaces will be employer of choice for persons with disabilities. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Don't lose hope, don't give up, and keep pushing. We would end this panel discussion. We just want to give our panelists a huge round of applause. Say thank you for making time, for preparing, and for joining us. You may please resume your seats. Thank you. Can we please give them another round of applause? Let's continue to give them a round of applause. We will be taking our snack break shortly, but before that, there was a presentation that should have been done after the snack break, but I think it's important it's rather done now. We have some supporting partners. Can somebody help me with this, please? Thank you. We have two online job portals who would give us a 5-minute presentation each on how to navigate their portal to apply for jobs. But before that, so I'll need them to get ready, Business Ghana and JCS Investment. But before that, we would want to get a representative each of all our partner institutions to join on stage for an acknowledgement and a group photo, which will be done now. So a representative from Standard Chartered, a representative from GFD, FCDO, British Council, Altruistic Foundation, PED, United Nations, Orica, West Africa, Site Savers, JoyNews. Can you please, one rep each to join us on stage, and can we please give them a huge round of applause? It's because of the dedication and commitment of these partners, that's why we are here. So can we please give them a round of applause even as they come? So if this event has been successfully held till now, from yesterday, it is because these organizations have committed time, personnel, and resources to ensure that this event is successful. Are we done with all our photo props now? I know all the organizations want to take for their personal pages. All right. Thank you very much. Can we please give them a round of applause, even as they take their seats? So we have Mr. Joseph Annan with Business Ghana to give us a short presentation. Can we please give him a round of applause?
Thank you, MC. Thank you, MC. Thank you, MC. And still, it's good morning. I'm a rep of Business Ghana. My name is Joseph Annan. Could you please project? Just to take you through on how to get the dream job that you have been looking for on businessghana.com. So this is our webpage, businessghana.com. Kindly click on jobs first. So these are jobs that are listed by corporate institutions and organizations that you can go through and then find a dream job that you have been looking for over the ages. So it's something that you can go on your smartphones and then you can easily find that job you are looking for. You can also subscribe to get job alerts on businessghana.com. CVs are received directly by companies or institutions that have these vacancies in their establishments. So directly you are served with your dream job. Kindly go out there, let's do a subscribe. get job alerts. You can subscribe as many that suits your need. It will send you the job that you selected in that category or in that industry that you would want to work with. It will send you that link to your email address. All it requires is your email address for you to be sent that job opportunity so that you can apply. Kindly click on it. So the job category and then a subcategory, all it needs is your email address. As many as you can subscribe to get that job you have been looking for. I think I'll end here. It's just a few minutes for us to look at this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have the rep from JCS Investment here as well. Would invite JCS Investments to take us through Prosper. Yeah, welcome. Can we please give him a round of applause?
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. All protocol there. Yeah, so my name is Prosper Elon. I'm from JCS Investments, Ghana. JCS Investments is an impact investment company. We don't just invest, but we invest to make an impact in society. So we've worked with a few projects. We are into advocacy, and we've been around since 2004. So this year, 2024, will be our 20th anniversary. So we've created a platform called sendhub.com.gh. Can you kindly go to the first page? Page one. This is the last one. Yes, so as SendHub actually is an ecosystem. It's a platform that advocates for people with disability. So actually we created it to address entrepreneurship in the disability community, and then to make sure that job seekers get visibility in the job market. Yes, actually. So, well, let's just continue from here. We've broken down SendHub into two categories, right? So first of all, what we do is we liaise with the schools, and so current students in the schools, and then past students. We liaise with the headmasters and those involved to, help us connect with them. Those that are entrepreneurs, the students, and then those that are qualified for the job market, right? So we've created this is the SendHub online marketplace. Every product here on the SendHub marketplace is created by a disabled person. So we've created this to help nurture entrepreneurship in the community. And anytime you make a purchase on SendHub online marketplace, you're helping a disabled person and their families. So let's move to the job portal, please. Well, I've talked about this already. This is what we do, and as you can see from the pictures, these are all disabled people, doing the jobs they do. So let's move to the job portal, please. Right, so the job portal is open to everyone, both employers and those looking for jobs. So you can just log on and upload your CV, and you get the employment you need. And employers looking to employ disabled people, you can log on, register, put your vacancies for them to apply. Yes, so can we see the products? Yes, so these are examples of products they've created. You can see they've created beaded bags, they've created, shoes, sandals, t-shirts, half shoes, dresses, office wear, corporate wear, anything you want is on SendHub, and it's created strictly by people with disability. Yes, so that's it. We would especially like to invite you to join the SendHub revolution. You can log on, purchase for yourself. You can purchase, as a corporate gift or for your loved ones or anyone. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, JCS Investments. And the reps of JCS and Business Ghana are still around. So if you have any further questions, you could ask them. Some of our persons with disability participants are exhibiting their wares once you get out where the registration happened. Please pass through and see if you can buy something. They have very interesting things, from the sandals, slippers, shirts, t-shirts, and all that. We'll be going for our snack break now on this side, under the canopies. Please make sure you carry everything along, because by the time we come back in here in 30 minutes, this room will change. This room will completely change. It would only be tables and chairs. And if you have submitted your CVs to us, you would come, this room would have names on every table. So you locate your name and you sit. Our employers who are here should also come back into this room, and we would continue with the second session from here. We'll be using 3 rooms for the interview sessions, but we'll give all that information after the snack break. So please make sure you carry everything along, and we'll see you at 11:55. Thank you.